And so you're basically kind of getting back into things. And I kind of want to know, like, when was the time frame for that to happen? Like, when did that, like, you were back in it, let's go. When did that actually occur?
I started playing again, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was like I said, I felt like I wanted to play, so I re-downloaded the game. Just thought I'd play a couple games, see how it went. Uh, and I was like, holy crap, man, unranked just sucks. So I'm gonna have to. It's kind of like playing pickup hoops at the gym. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you never really know who the other nine people out there are gonna be or how
Mm-hmm.
good or bad they're gonna be.
Yeah,
It just feels a little more controlled playing ranked.
yeah. Understandable, understandable. It's also, I think, if it's been quite some time, the transition to 5v5 makes games a little bit more volatile as well, because
Very
one,
big adjustment.
one goofy thing, and you're gonna have more impact in your games, but bad players can have bad impact in
Yeah.
your games. So it's just kind of, there's gonna be a little more volatility. So I want to get insight into my own play from a fresh perspective to better see blind spots in my perception of the playing field, as well as learning new strategies for reviewing your own gameplay. Something I'd heard through my life in athletics and esports was, if you're the best player on your team, you should find a new one or you'll never get any better. The people I play with at the moment are new to PC gaming and don't have as much experience with Overwatch as I do. We review our VODs together, but I frankly have only just got back into the game after a long break. Okay. So, yeah, I talked to me about your, maybe at the time of the forum, maybe that's changed, but talk to me about, like, what does your playtime with the game look like? Whether it's your social relationship, how much solo queue, ranked, team play, and so on.
Yeah, I have two buddies that I'm playing. I'm probably like 3 to 5 days a week, like 2 to 3 hour sessions.
Yep.
Um, Depending on how exhausted I am from
Yep.
work, I either do or
Yep.
don't play ranked. That's something it's really important to me to like not play ranked if I just am not feeling it that day.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
because I just play terrible and then it makes me upset. So
Mm. Mm.
I enjoy playing unranked with my buddies. They've started playing some more ranked as well, but then wide queue is kind of a disaster.
Yeah, where are they at right now, and where are you? At the time it said plat, but where are you right now?
Um, I'm in plat on all roles right now. I
Okay.
actually climbed from gold to plat on support and
Nice.
DPS, which are my off
Nice.
roles.
Oh, sick. Nice.
I
Well
think
done.
that's more than any. Thank you. I think it's more than anything just putting some hours in
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
anything I
And your
did
buddies?
specifically. They're sitting like silver bronze, but
Yeah.
when you're new to PC, it's hard to like even if you have a good understanding of the game, I think it can be hard just to the mechanical aspect is a
Yep.
huge
Absolutely.
huge challenge.
Agreed. Agreed. So when you're talking about, like, your playtime right now, the social aspect, your personal aspect, and so on, what kind of stuff are you doing right now? How often do you queue with him? What do you queue? How often do you solo, and so on?
I'd say it's a pretty even split. Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing like 12, 15 hours of Overwatch a week,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably playing 7, 8 hours
Got it.
unranked, 7, 8 hours
Okay.
of ranked, and I
Okay.
generally am solo queuing ranked.
Got it. Okay. And then goals wise, long term was reaching former peak of high diamond, and then maybe even pushing for masters at some point. Do you
Yeah,
enjoy? I assume that you enjoy playing with your friends, like the social aspect.
I really do.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a pretty common problem with a lot of my
Sure.
students. I would say anywhere from like 20 to 30% of my students, and it's one that I certainly relate to a lot because I've basically played socially for like the last 5 years, for like the vast majority of my gameplay. And, my skills remained, I would say, relatively static at characters that I've played off and on. And it's gotten a little worse with characters I haven't played as much. And that's kind of probably where I'm going to remain for the future, unless I have a content project or, like, let's say I push for GM for like a video piece or something, right? That's kind of where it's going to be at. The difference between you and me, though, is you're spending a little bit more playtime than I am on average, and you are doing some solo queue. In addition, the on the contrary, though, I have like a better game understanding. So when I do play, I'm probably a little bit more productive than you, just because I kind of have a better idea of like what I need to be working on and so on. That's just the nature of my job. So I would say you're at definitely a tricky path right now. You said getting to plat was just simply putting more hours in, and especially with your experience in the game, that's good. But for most people that I've worked with, plat is kind of like where you're probably going to stay, unless we sharpen some things up.
Yeah.
Because if you're around, like, let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Like, let's say that you're 7 to 8 hours, right, on the higher end of playtime in terms of solo queue. That's pretty tough to get better on 3 roles at, right? And I don't think the solution is to play less with your friends, because that's like the most important thing that you can do is enjoy the game with friends, right? So I think for you, what I would recommend is even looking at the pool of heroes. I would do either a hero compression, a role compression, or both, and then just approach it from there. No, go ahead.
Primarily, I'm here for tank stuff.
Okay.
I enjoy playing the other roles with my friends, but when it comes to queuing ranked, I really just want to get my tank gameplay back to where I know it can be. I'm happy to have improved on the other roles, and I think I wanted to do it because I was like, I need to know what my teammates are going through when I'm playing tank, so I can be better at it. And I think that having a broad understanding is good, but primarily I'm like, I gotta get better on my favorite role.
Does your playtime reflect tank? Like when you're saying solo queue, please do.
Like.
Please do. I'm also curious, like, because we'll want to look at your time spent and all that kind of stuff, because I think like that's going to be the real question.
Do you want to see like all modes career or like this season ranked?
This season and last season.
Okay. Here is this season, and then I started playing again at the tail end of last season. So I guess it's been maybe a little longer than I.
So 9, 10, 7, 10. Little bit of tank bias this season, which lines up with what you were saying. And then last season was a little more tank bias, and you said you started playing towards the tail end. Yeah, so this is like, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a tank bias, right? For sure, like in terms of your hours, by at least like 40% tank, maybe something like that. But it's going to need to be more than that, right? It's going to need to be more than that. Now, the key thing is it's going to need to be more than that, and this is really important, in your solo queue, right? If you're playing with your friends, quick play, wide group, whatever, I don't really care, frankly, what you play. I think that, but like if I were to look at this optimally, like let's just look at your current competitive season here. 7 hours Wrecking Ball, 3 hours Diva, maybe an hour of throwing some Sigma in there. I would want that to be all your solo queue hours. That's it right there, right? I don't want to see Baptiste. I don't want to see Tracer. I don't want to see Reaper. I don't want to see Soldier. I don't want to see Lucio in any solo queue at all, right? So I think like you can kind of interpret that how you'd like, but optimally there, it would be completely constricting your solo queue to one role or in a couple of heroes within that role, optimally.
Sure.
And then when you're playing with friends, it's like it's a little bit more relaxed. You're not as concerned about your rank because it isn't your quote-unquote main role, and then you kind of go from there. That would be my recommendation.
Cool.
Because I do think Diamond is achievable with like an hour a day of like consistent practice. And I know you're not playing every day, but like spread out, it's about an hour a day, right?
Sure.
And then obviously also as well, like if you're able to play the solo queue first, that would also be optimal as well. I'm not sure if that works with your schedule, but that would be just so that you're able to utilize the energy that you have sooner, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely I pretty much try to stay away. Like if I've been playing unranked with the buddies for a while, it's like I'm kind of already days cashed out. Energy. Yeah.
Yep. Agreed. Okay. And then also as well, like I think it would just kind of coming to terms with what your hero pool is going to be would be important as well. So obviously it sounds like you're really like Wrecking Ball pilled, which I love, right? So then your form is like, oh, Diva, Monkey, Zarya, but then obviously your form is like kind of more just Diva, right? And then Zarya is like maybe a Sigma here and there. Like I would put some thought into like, okay, what are going to be my
right now is I like playing ball on attack, generally. I like playing D.Va on defense.
Okay.
And I've been playing some Queen lately because I had never tried her.
Sure.
And sometimes I really like the hero. She's fun to play.
Yeah, for sure.
She's good in Brawl, so I'd
Yeah.
like to have her in the pocket as well. But
That's
it's
fine.
really just a lot of D.Va and Ball.
Okay, that's fine. What I would do is I would say D.Va and Ball until you decide that you're bored of D.Va or you feel like you're bored of Ball or the meta doesn't favor Ball or doesn't favor D.Va. And then sub in Queen or try a couple of tanks for like a couple days and then decide what the new, like, the replacement's going to be. You could change it up, but just don't change it up every week.
Yeah.
Okay. That's mostly it. Like, let's if I were to look one last look at your current competitive season, what I would like to see is I would like to see no Zarya, no Sigma. I'd like to see those hours dumped into Wrecking Ball or D.Va.
Cool.
And then in addition to that, I would like to make sure that, like, obviously this isn't going to show anything, but once more, like, that if we could have a solo queue thing, it would just be tank, right? It would not be any DPS. It would not be whatever. And I would also avoid playing tank with your friends as well, if you can.
Oh, I try to. I try to.
Now, if you're quick play stacking, right, and you're like, I'm gonna screw around some Roadhog, or maybe I'll try out some Junker Queen, see if this character is like fun. Yeah, go for it. But none of your quote unquote practice heroes, if at all avoidable. Okay, that's mostly it for training schedule, and I think honestly, like, figuring that out, not even figuring it out, but improving that, cleaning that one up slightly is going to be your most important thing for you ranking up to Diamond. I think for sure.
Quality playtime.
Yep, quality playtime. It's all about little adjustments that you can stick with without, like, compromising why you're playing the game in the first place. So, okay, goals, short-term identify weaknesses in my approach to the game, both at the desk and on the map. We talked a little bit about at the desk, right? So to speak, devise strategies for meaningful practice and reflection regarding my matches and learn what skills and concepts have remained effective in Overwatch 2 and which to move away from. Okay, we'll do that. How to study, how to review, how to be aware of your own goals. We'll give you some things to work on, how to review those things as well. Okay. What do you feel something back from improving? There's a long way for me to go to mechanically. I've been on PC for nearly 4 years, and I have to remind myself often that some of my opponents have likely been playing with a mouse for 2 or 3 times that long. Yeah, it's also hard when you have, like, Noah's Ark hero pool, right? Like, and frankly, like, you're playing the game a decent amount, like, certainly amount, like, considering that you're working and doing this and that, but, like, people sometimes put in 3 times that amount of hours. So, like, it's not that you're competing with people that have been playing first-person shooters since they were 12. You're competing with people that are putting in triple your hours every week.
Yeah.
Right? So, a lot of mechanics is quantity and quality, but you're still missing one of those variables compared to some of these people. Now, what I will say is if you were to be, like, literally perfect with your schedule, perfect with your playtime, perfect with your focus, I think Masters is achievable with the amount of time that you're putting in. It's just going to be really hard. Mentally, things got tough for me during losing streaks. I think, like anything. Case of the game feels so fast, I don't feel like I can make any correct decisions and things snowball from there. I feel like I'm too old or too washed, and I start playing worse and all spirals. Right, so it's like you make a mistake, or you don't know what to do. You become aware.
I've been playing long enough where
right.
I know, like, the second I do a certain thing, or if I see it's like a teammate which uses we use Blizzard, like, after 4 people are dead, I'm just like, well, I can see how the chips are falling, and whether or not it's a confirmed loss, it doesn't matter, but it's like, well, the game just got harder.
Yeah. You're what you are is you're your own armchair quarterback is what you are.
Yeah.
Like you're watching the game from a third person perspective because you have known the game so long, and you're being hypercritical of your teammates and your own errors because it's a perfect analogy because you may not be able to throw as well as that guy, or make decisions as well as that guy, but you wish you could, and you feel like you know better. It just doesn't always come to the execution, and that's because the game doesn't move that slowly. So you have to be able to make those decisions quickly, and that doesn't necessarily
moving faster.
and it keeps going, and it's not just about being able to make decisions quickly, period. In fact, some of the stupider people I know are really good at Overwatch making decisions quickly just because they put the time in, right? And so they've been able to practice making those decisions over and over again to where it's not even a decision at all. It's just an instinct, right? So, I think for you is it's like there's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't made the time to make those decisions over and over again until they happen automatically. Because if you want to play Overwatch optimally, you need to think so much that there is no thinking involved. Right? It's just action. It's just instinct. Total instinct. Like with anything else. Like with anything, right?
Yeah.
Like with anything. And the worst thing you could do is being aware of those errors, not necessarily being aware, but then fixating on them, right? Because then now, you're taking your attention away from like what needs to happen next and thinking about what's already happened. And so like your already limited instincts are like now like gate kept even further. They're dragged to the floor even. They're slowed down. So that's why like confidence is so good, because confidence isn't like some magic pill. Confidence just means that you're not really thinking, which simplifies your processes a lot, right? So when you're confident,
Absolutely.
you're just doing things, right? And you're thinking, your brain's entirely. If you're thinking about how great you are, then you're gonna be slow. You're gonna make mistakes. But if you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do it, and you just do it, like now you're reacting as quickly as you possibly can. You're able to process as many things as it's physically possible for you right now. So the goal is to try and train confidently and train consciously with what you're trying to be working on, and try to. I think for you, it's just establishing like a hierarchy of like what are the decisions that you really need to practice making, And I think when you're playing a character like Wrecking Ball, there's a lot of things to think about. So, okay, I don't really have anything else from your forum. Do you have anything else for me?
No, I mean, I'm happy to just jump into the review
Let's do it. Let's do it. I think big thing for you, clean up playtime in terms of your role stuff a little bit. Don't beat yourself too much if you feel like you're moving at a slug space at points in time. Just, okay, what does the slug need to focus on? And
Frankly,
then we'll build
I've
from there.
improved a lot since I started playing again, just
Good.
by playing a lot. So
That'll do it.
Kind of like, I'd like to keep going, but I went ahead and shot you that code, by the way.
I got it.
I'm looking for direction.
Sure. Sure. We'll take a look.
This is a good time to build good habits.
Mm-hmm.
Just full screen this here.
Mm-hmm. So D.Va, is this all D.Va? A little bit of ball.
It's D.Va and ball. I do bring out the queen for like one recontest.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have time.
I'm gonna be real with you. I chose this VOD because there's some stuff that I do pretty well. There's some stuff that I do just awful. There's specific questions that I have for you about certain interactions, and I also do a little bit of trolling. So
perfect. Okay, I was just about to ask you that question. Like, why did you choose the VOD? Okay, a little bit of everything. Playing the characters you want to get better at. Perfect. Sounds good. How recent was this VOD? I didn't see.
It's about a week ago.
Okay, that's gonna be tough because I'm gonna ask you, like, do you remember what you're making or thinking? Excuse me, during this decision. So you're gonna have to try and maybe recall some stuff as best as you can. So let's talk about D.Va really fast, just as simply as you possibly can. What is D.Va unique at, especially good at compared to other tanks? Anything come to mind?
D.Va's really good at responding to emerging threats.
Sure.
Due to her mobility and burst damage. Matrix is one of the best abilities in the game. Just period, I think.
In regards to what though? Because that's may or may not be true depending on the situation. What does Matrix provide for you, for your value?
She denies hit scan and projectile damage.
Okay.
Especially burst damage is really good.
Sure.
She's good at stopping it. And it's like a 3D area. It's not just like a shield, a plane.
Okay. Anything you've been working on recently with D.Va? Any goals, any things that you've learned, or just mostly just kind of getting back in the hang of things?
I'm trying to go backline without just inting.
It's hard, isn't it?
Like,
it's hard.
It is hard, and I do it here pretty quickly.
Yep.
Which is sad, but when it works really well, and then a slight miscalculation is a 700 HP feed.
Yep.
And it stinks.
Compare yourself to the Winston. He's so much faster. And in many ways, for diving backline, Bubble's so much better because it's omnidirectional and allows you to do damage and survive attention at the same time. D.Va's in this weird quandary where she's neither a brawl tank nor a dive tank in terms of she's not like the best in close range.
Fighting what she's looking at.
Right, exactly. The problem is that she is the slowest dive tank by a lot. Winston, Doomfist, and Wrecking Ball are all way faster. So if you're looking to go for squishies, I do not want D.Va all the time. But the thing is there is that opportunity, that is that option that a tank like maybe a Reinhardt, Sigma, Ramattra may not have quite as easily. But something that D.Va has compared to a Doomfist, Wrecking Ball, Winston especially, is the ability to get some decent frontline pressure. So she's this weird hybrid.
Tank trade
right. So the thing with D.Va is you really want to try to be taking some sort of an angle from your team or from the enemy team, and then kind of seeing what opportunities present itself. So one of the things when I was coaching recently on a Junker Queen was you hold a short off angle, you fish with your primary fire and your carnages, your knives, until you see a good opportunity to push their tank or push their squishies or something along those lines. You kind of use some of your tools to look for opportunities to push. So like if you were right now to see Moira, dive Moira, that would be dumb. Why?
Their whole team is going to look at me, and they're not going to be able to shoot or see my team, so they're all just going to shoot me.
Right, so it's a 5v1. And what opportunity have you created right now? Have you forced Fade? Have you seen Heal Orb? Have you seen anything? No, right. So the thing is like a Winston can't really force CDs. He has to take action to force those CDs. Kind of like Wrecking Ball, right? Even Doomfist, right? They have to force CDs with action. D.Va, because she has micro missiles, because she has her Matrix and her primary fire, she can kind of force CDs with just doing damage, right? Or using one CD like missiles to force CDs. So you kind of want to be thinking like, what is a good position I can do to put pressure? Like right now, you have options, right? You could force a CD right now. What CD will you force?
I think I'm about to force Fade.
Right. And how are you going to force that Fade? Because you could just primary fire here, but we could accelerate that.
I'm probably going to missiles and booster, even though I could have gotten away with just missiling.
That's the key thing right there. You notice that? It's that I could just use my primary fire and my missiles to force the CD, and then I can use my mobility to pursue. And why are you allowed to do that? Because your positioning was good. Why is your positioning right now good?
I'm on a short off angle.
Short off angle.
Target.
Right. Now you're like, I'm not on an off angle. Well, yes, you are. Look at your echo.
I was on even more of an off angle when more of my team were up there.
Right. So you're up close. You're on a bit of an angle, a little bit of a corner here, and because that, the Moira can't take space without walking into your sightlines, and so you're going to force with good positioning, Fade. Now, as you said, the thing that's tricky is you probably didn't need to use boosters there. And why that's important is you're like, well, I didn't really need it because I'm not really under pressure. What could you have done with, let's just park you here. What could you do with boosters now? Two things, right? What's number one? What's the aggressive option? You've seen Fade. What do you do?
Punish Moira.
Punish Moira, right? Risky, right? With Sleep Dart and all that kind of stuff, but it's something you could do, right? What's the other thing you could do? You force backline out here, and now backline's kind of MIA. What do you do now? Check it.
See about going on that Winston.
You could go on that Winston, right? So you never really want to leave the choke entirely because I still want to control backline here. But maybe there's a world where I could do like a drive-by, do a little bit extra damage, right? Or maybe I just sit here in the corner and don't do anything, just abuse the fact that I have my mobility cooldown, and because of that, this backline literally can't take any space at all. Meanwhile, my team can poke up this monkey.
One of the reasons I chose this VOD was. This match does go to extra rounds, and the Monkey and the Genji basically do the same thing on both attacks, and it works both times.
Yep.
And when I reviewed this myself, I got deja vu, and I was like, this seems like something worth looking at. Right.
It's important to note there the difference between what is happening with you and happening with the Monkey, despite your errors with maybe some of your CDs and so on, and maybe, okay, miss nade, whatever, doesn't matter. Do you see the HP difference between the two tanks right now?
He has half health, no armor.
Right. Now, you are getting heal pocket, to be fair. But like the big thing is he's had to commit his bubble, and he still hasn't really taken enough space with it. This is the difference, right? It's because your cover usage has been really good here. And here, what should you use now? What's just come off of cooldown?
I could throw missiles.
You could throw missiles. You could throw missiles. If there's a good target for missiles, use it. That's just that simple. Right here, just use more missiles. And it could be on Cassidy or Winston or Moira right here. It doesn't really matter. See, this backline cannot take any space. This backline cannot take any space.
I'm about to do the dumbest thing in the world.
Well, okay, but why is this dumb? Why is this dumb? There's two reasons.
I haven't seen Sleep, I don't think.
Right, so there's no, or fade, or heal orb. There's no opportunity that you're punishing here. You haven't forced a CD that allows you to push. The other thing is this even your responsibility? Is this even a problem right now?
Not really. I don't.
Why?
Think, I mean,
what's the proximity here? Do you see the proximity? It's a slight thing. But you see how like they're slowly backing away? You've done your job.
Yeah.
When you force them to back away, you've done your job. Right? So what should you do here instead?
I mean, I need to just hold this position. Like, I think this is a good angle for me to be at. It suits
I agree.
my kit.
They're
So
out.
As long as I don't
Go back.
overcommit.
Yep. Matrix yourself out, tuck to the corner, and then shoot bubble or whatever, you know? So the problem here is because you quote unquote overcommit, you lose just a little bit too much HP. You use your micro missiles when you really didn't need to. And now you're not in as good of a position as you'd like to do something like this, or even just to continue to hold backline, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking here, like, well, that's my high ground. I want my team to have it, not you guys.
It doesn't matter. Like, this isn't, like, I think this is where, like, we get, like, these weird competitive, like, strategy, like, misconceptions. They've earned the high ground. It's fine. But they still haven't taken your corner. Where is your corner? Right. You don't care about them. Like, just do your job. Do your job. Right now, I don't hate this. But the problem is that you don't really have boosters. You don't really have Matrix. You're also not full HP. This isn't really the play, right? And once again, it's funny that the second that you vacate this after wasting missiles, right? The second that you vacate this, they immediately walk through, right? They immediately walk through. So you didn't force enough CDs. You didn't push them back and then turn. You just kind of like looked at them, overextended, and then now they're just walking forward and taking space. And by the way, they're bleeding your HP too. See, again here, it's like, what opportunity did you see here, right?
I wish I could say that I saw something, but I think I was just like, ooh, half HP cast, I got the end. It's one bad decision that kind of starts dominoes, and then I get res.
Right, it's a big mess. But at this point, we're already kind of cooked, right? Like, it's already cooked. So what's the simplest takeaway that you can come from this? Because we've talked about a lot of details, but let's clean this up.
I think the simplest thing is I had a good position that suited my kit.
What's a good position? What's a good position? Let's be very specific and very simple.
Short off angle.
That's it. Short off angle. Okay. Then what was the mistake?
I think more than anything, I get caught in two minds between contesting high ground and.
It's not your job. It's not your job.
Yeah.
Right. Unless the high ground is also a short off angle or something that you can avoid backline PLS. Like, let's put it this way. Could you fly safely here? Right. You can't. They can't. They can see you. Yeah. Right. It's not safe. Right. So you need to hold your short off angle. Now, if you fly up top and you're up short here, because remember the short off angle is short off angle versus everybody. Right. Yeah. If you think about like, oh, I'm taking a short off angle, Coach Spile, I'm shooting here versus their tank, right? But then they're shooting you in spawn. That's not a short off angle, right? This actually makes it you're further away from backline, right? So you need a short off angle. You need to just hold your position, and then if they back away from you, only chase if there's an opportunity. Only chase if there's an opportunity, right? Use this angle here to force the fades and the nades and the Cassidy's and whatever, the hinders. And if you want to go after that, that's fine, because you're not going to get punished anymore. That's the key thing. Yeah. But you'll force CDs by just existing here. You know? That's it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
This character is not easy, but we can try to simplify things.
I really enjoy playing her.
Right. I think the theory of her is really good. I think she's really strong right now, but I think in theory the character is really good. So, short off angle, right? Right here, we have a major problem. You have a major problem. You're too far away. Not. This isn't a mistake. This is you needed to be here to get the Winston out. Good job. Now what? Now what's the next solution? Do you see an opportunity?
Not particularly.
Then don't booster to a target.
Then don't
booster to right. Then booster to a position. Think ahead.
Yeah, I remember how this plays out.
So where should you go instead, though? Because you do need to move.
Probably just go top.
You should probably go top, right? Even going here, why?
It's just if I go to where you are now, I have an option left, I have an option right, I still
Short,
have high ground available
short.
to me.
Now, if they take here and start poking you out, okay, you got to move again. But again, the idea that look for a short off angle either now or in theory a few seconds from now. And if you see somebody that's poking you out from far away, do not commit on them unless they're low. Find an indirect way of approaching them. Like you could booster here, and if that Cassie doesn't move, we sneak up on them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But you cannot be direct. I used to call it a two-step process with D.Va. Set up and execution, set up and execution. It's not just Winston that does this, right? But this here, this will get you killed. This will get you killed. Or at least make you like a really bad HP trade. Because like even if you were like playing this one really well and boosted in an 8-hander and then you didn't get caught in the wall here, you tucked in, you're still losing like a cheek ton of armor, and you're in serious trouble, right? Like this is a mess. You are just basically hemorrhaging HP, and now you're gonna have the bomb.
Yep.
And the worst part about it is it's like, oh, it's a remake bomb. Yeah, but you didn't do anything aggressive with it, right? We want a remake bomb that enabled you to take a more aggressive play. This was just a train wreck in slow motion. Short off angle. There's nothing here that's not far away. Everything's far away. So set up. Where do you
go? Is that alley on my right?
You could. Yeah, you could go here. Give me more options. There's at least two. Two more, excuse me.
I mean, inside here to the left.
Inside left here, right? You let them take a little bit of space, but then this angle allows you to force CDs by just shooting. See, that's the thing is when we're looking for short off angle, we want to see like, hey, I can force bubble or fade or deflect by just shooting, right? Just shooting, right? Okay, where else? Where else? There's one more.
I think top,
go on top.
Above.
Bam, right? Now I'm in a situation where I can, obviously, this is still a little far here.
I have a good view of the
but it's not far when I drop. See, what you do is you fly here, and then you can drop like a monkey. And then you have your boosters and your matrix and your missiles, and you can go and fly out if you want to, right? Because that's the difference between that and flying into the hinder here, is when the cooldown trade goes poorly, you're stuck until your boosters come back again. So this is the thing. You recognize the need to well, hang on. But you're one. This is why you're plat, not gold. You recognize the need to close the distance with this character. Gold players don't do that. Silver players don't do that. They just poke, regardless of the range. So you recognize the need to close the distance, but you close the distance inappropriately, without good setup, without people that have no CDs. Because this guy, if he's smart, he's going to get a little bit of healing, and then you're dead. He could have held that. I think he could have held that. I'm actually curious. Yeah, there's no reason for him to release it when he did, right? So now the good news is that, again, in your plat value here, not gold, you are forcing a lot of resources. You're demanding a lot of healing, but you're also getting a lot of value, right? Now, honestly, this isn't even the moment of truth. You know what the moment of truth is? This is the moment of truth right now.
Chasing this plating Genji.
This is the moment of truth, right? You have to choose, right? Where's your value from here? It's kind of ambiguous, right? I don't really know. What do you think? So, like, let's say you peek here. What are you going to see?
I guess the best play here is just, I mean, I have a better chance of fighting a Cass and a Moira than I do a pocketed.
Sure, but there's somebody even closer.
You think? I guess Mercy, yeah.
Mercy, she's not Valking, and guess what? You have boosters soon. You have missiles soon. You go for it. Maybe not peak right now, but then you need to peak now. And I think this Mercy dies. I'm pretty sure this Mercy dies, right? So if it was Valk, 100% no. But see, you're thinking too peel-oriented now. That character's playing more aggressively, so I need to punish that character. And I want to take some credit for that, because I think that was... It's not a bad advice, but I'm not sure if you've watched any of my other D.Va VODs where I talk about like the whack-a-mole strategy with D.Va.
Absolutely.
The key thing, though, is to... And I think this is where my advice was not as good as it could have been, is that whack-a-mole implies that like whoever's most aggressive gets punished. But what's the problem?
Equipped to deal with this threat.
And not only because it's a Genji blade, but because he's too far away.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not... The whack-a-mole is... I've had to like rechange my analogy here, because it's more about like what's immediately accessible. Because here's the thing. If the Genji was like right here, I think you go for Genji Blade.
Sure.
Because it's convenient, right? Because you are a range restricted character. So don't just chase a character because it's aggressive. Chase the character if it's convenient, right? Convenience is the big thing. And that's why the Mercy makes sense. And frankly, even something like the Moira makes sense because they're just a little bit closer. Again, it's about, can I force those CDs, that GA, that fade, that orb, that deflect, that hinder, that bubble, by just existing? And the answer there was really only with the Mercy or the Moira. That's probably the only time you can just drop and force CDs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like here, you're rolling out from spawn. So, the worlds are apple or whatever they say. What is it? Oyster. Oh, not apple. What am I saying? Yeah, this is too much inside stuff, I think. So you really got to kind of choose where you want to go here, right? So you're going to go here, but you could just as easily go here. I don't think it really matters because like your matchup versus these characters is like relatively okay. In hindsight, what do you think here? Okay, let's go one step further. What do you think is your best position here? You're rolling out. You're just like gonna get on top of somebody. Where do you like? What feels good?
I like where my Genji is.
So maybe you fly in, start to get toasted, turn Matrix here, tuck in towards here, maybe. What if I forced you to go on squishies? How would you go for squishies here?
I mean, there's high ground on both sides of the cart.
Well, don't worry about high ground. High ground is a bonus because it's cover, but you're looking for a short sight line with cover, whether that's high ground or whether it's not. Because the high ground here is kind of meh, right? It's a little far from everything.
I mean, the middle there, like the balcony there is short.
You could fly here. This would be good. You could duck in towards here. Yeah, okay. I think it's really up to you here.
I do think I settle into this game eventually.
Well, this is not too bad, right? You force a deflect, you get up close, and then you commit here because you see an opportunity. Not just because the Genji Blade, but also because the casties use CDs and is 1 HP, and you're not. So this is where committing hard with boosters is good. It is the correct play. And then now here, obviously, opportunity presents itself. So go. And then here you're like, okay, Valking Mercy, waste of time. Let's go on Genji. It's just a matter of convenience and opportunity. That's all. That's all D.Va's really good at. You're not really good at forcing those cooldowns outside of just holding a corner and pressing mouse 1. You don't jump in and bubble or punch in and roll through and slam and then roll. You just shoot and then you chase stuff that's low. That's pretty much it. But the good news is that you do actual damage without having to commit cooldowns. Whereas a Winston, like, what do you do? Force a cooldown with alt fire? Like, no. My only complaint here is use your missiles. Like right here, let them go. Even on bubble, it's worth.
You think so?
Yeah, it's worth. It's worth it. It's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage, right? And there's such a low cooldown as well. Was it like 7 seconds? 6 seconds? 7 seconds. Yep. Yeah, this is fine. This is where you're really playing whack-a-mole, but you're just playing with whack-a-mole with what's easy. You're like, oh, primal, I can't. It's too far away, right? So go for Genji. Genji's low. Get the missiles. He's low. Moira pockets the Genji. Okay, then now Moira's close. Moira uses Fate. Now what? Okay, Moira's too far away. Now what's close? Okay, we got to go for Winston. Yeah, I mean, see, this is just convenience and mechanics. That's all it is, which is fine.
I think that is one of my better fights so far.
Yeah, I agree. Just kind of shooting what's there, And it was from a good position, right? You took high ground. You set up. Somebody's either gonna push high ground, which gets close to me, or they're gonna walk underneath high ground, which is close to me. Right. So something's gonna be here, and then now it's just about me either executing on that target or using my cooldowns wisely. Like right now, you gotta make a really important decision. Am I gonna be giving up space by leaving this high ground to chase the Genji? Because he's clearly isolated. That's an opportunity. But will there be other opportunities over here? And I think this decision has to be made quickly. And then as soon as you see this, you go, no, I'm going for Winston. Convenience, right? Just convenience. Please use your missiles. Thank you.
I mean, what is that guy doing?
Right. My only nitpick here is when I see Cass up here, just get the Matrix out a little bit sooner and then drop behind cover. Because the difference between you and Winston right now is like HP is pretty much the same, but you've traded missiles for bubble. That's a good cooldown trade. And again, it was by convenience. If you had not been here, That would have been a lot uglier. It's okay. And this is an opportunity, okay? Because what do you see here? You're a little low, but what? What does he not have? What do you have? Break this down.
I mean, he's mine here if I play it right.
Well, how? Like, what has changed between this and the first point defense, where this doing this exact same target with using boosters was so bad? What's changed? It's tough, isn't it? It's not. It feels intuitive, but somehow you can't put into words.
I guess just cover.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
And
Sure.
Like when I dove on him first point, there was an Ana and a Moira also shooting me.
Well, the question was were they worth contesting? Was it worth pushing past the corner? Were they doing anything over here?
No.
No. Is this guy doing something on high ground? In theory,
Takes a few steps forward.
right?
Maybe,
I mean,
yeah.
you're not 100% on the same page with where your team is. It doesn't really matter. The point being is that yes, this guy's isolated. You have bomb. This is the time to go. The fight has started. We need to go. So you're gonna get demeched here. Oh wow. Okay. No. But even if you had been, you bomb. You win the 1v1. That's okay. And why do you go for Cassie? Because he was there. That's it. Sure. Very simple. Set up, shoot what's there, trade your HP effectively. Even this is scary, right? Even this is scary. Because you're like, oh, Winston, I should be okay. But, oh, man, look at that HP bleed. Look at that HP bleed, right? Probably better to just do what instead?
Just not booster.
And instead, go to where?
I think there's a little bit of cover just a few feet back to the left.
Sure. Or are you ready for this one? Shocking. Go to high ground and do it again. Wait for it to happen. Unless we're holding this choke here, you need to be on high ground because this is. You look at where your team is, right? We're fighting here, right? We're not holding this choke, so it's fine. I like to grab the mega, take some heat off of Mercy, and then now this is really important. What do you do?
God.
It's convenience. Remember, convenience. Everything's sacrificed at the altar of convenience. You just shoot the Winston.
Right
Use the missiles. Do not use your boosters. Just shoot the Winston. And then if you see an opportunity, light it up. So yeah, the mistake here is just that you use boosters, which means if things start to get a little hairy, you cannot disengage. I like this pivot though. This is a much better opportunity because the Winston jumps away and the Moira's even closer. So this is good. Go ahead.
I think the reason I use boosters there is there's a half second where I'm like, well, I'm gonna go on this Genji, and then
you bail.
It didn't work the first time, and I'm like, that's
right.
ridiculous.
So good, right? Good. That's fine. That's fine. I respect it. I respect it. Opportunity, right? Opportunity. You're just a little slow with a couple of things. First off,
Matrix usage is bad.
Matrix usage is bad, but actually it's just you needed boosters now, right? Like now. So the Matrix usage, whatever, you finally go to the point where we're a little slow in eating the orb. But like, I mean, I think this is where it comes down to the execution is bad. But the idea of what you were doing was correct, right? Was correct. You didn't chase a Genji blade. You were trying to, you forced the cooldown on the Moira by just shooting and then had cooldowns to pursue. You just didn't quite execute it. Because you could see here, Poco or a high-level diva kills both of these guys.
Yeah, Choi is my hero, man.
Choyobin kills both of these guys, right? And that's not even because, their mechanics are perfect, but it's attainable for you. It really is. I think you, after today, maybe kills both of these guys, right? I think that's kind of like the key thing here. Okay, so I think this is where we swap. Oh, no, we don't swap. Okay, let's keep going. Any questions so far?
No, I'm good to keep going.
Okay, let's do like maybe one more fight, and then maybe let's take a second look at some Ball, because obviously Ball seems like probably the more important character for you.
I just think like I don't like playing Ball on defense because I don't feel like I'm, even when I'm feel like I'm playing well, my teams are just like folding, and I
Sure.
guess D.Va lets me feel like I'm adding a little more.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Now, this is where, okay, you tell me what the mistake is here. Remember, it's all about convenience and opportunity. What do I need to use? What do you see on your screen right now?
A 100 HP Genji.
And Winston and everything. There's so many opportunities right now. You're doing a great job. So what should you not use?
I should not booster into the
You don't need to. But why? Why is...
left is a good angle.
Right. And you ready for this? You don't even need to worry about angles right now. You're just shooting. You're just killing people. You're in their face. You are way better at them at doing this.
Yeah.
Just, right, exactly. Just shoot them. Just shoot them right now. Do not use your boosters. The whole point of boosters is either A, to disengage a bad fight, or B, to get close to people. You don't need... So you're boostering like you're closing the distance here, but actually you're doing less damage because you're confusing yourself. You don't getting, like, I don't think you do even more damage by closing the distance more than like a 1 meter there. Like, you were basically at your effective range. And so now you're not only down your cooldowns, you did not shoot what was convenient, which could have been this Winston, could have been this Genji. And then now, while this primal rage is happening in your backline, you cannot disengage. You see? Really, really shaky stuff, and that kills your Mercy because she has to try and bail you out. You had convenient. Ooh, that's promising. I like that. I saw the angle. I saw the angle. I saw the vision. You know.
I had to try to make a play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it paid off. I try not to use bomb like that because I think the extra life is just. So
yeah. But you see it, you let it rip. You see it, you let it rip. It was good. And it might have been a situation where you get back in anyway. Okay. Let's stop there with D.Va. D.Va. Is really simple.
What I do want to say about this is right here, I remember going, wait, this guy's touching spawn door. I love this guy.
Yeah, this guy's no fear. Actually, touching spawn door not too bad here because defensive advantage is kind of awkward until the end of third point, right? So you might as well, if you want to fight like here, it's honestly fine, and then you can get a recontest here. Okay, so D.Va, set up, close, off angle, don't commit boosters unless A, opportunity, or B, to disengage, shoot based off of convenience. Don't need to chase, take what's given. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
If you're going back and looking at your codes, that's what I would be, a tough game. Look at how you set up.
Any deeper than just take that half second to be like, do I need to use boosters right now? Even though it'll feel slow at first, as I develop the skill.
Yeah, sure. Or just thinking about, am I happy with where I'm at right now?
Okay.
Am I happy with where I'm at right now? And then if not, don't try to booster directly at the enemy team to close the distance. Think instead, where's the angle that I need to be? Am I happy with where I'm at? Okay, then where do I need to be? Okay, am I happy with where I'm at? Do I know where to be? Not who do I need to be on, but where do I need to be? Because the who is not super important with D.Va. I don't think, like Winston, it's more important because Winston has a lot of bad matchups. But with D.Va, it's like, yeah, you're fine versus everybody. Even like a brawl thing. Like there's even situations where you'll front line on a tight corner versus Orion. Because he has to push into your team, and you can do decent damage versus Orion, right? So like there just aren't very many bad matchups. I guess Zarya, if she's got charge, but even Zarya, like with low charge, I will sit on a corner like King Zoro first point. She walks into me, I don't give a frick if she's gonna try and bubble into me. I'm gonna light her up without using missiles. She pops a bubble, I just tuck into a corner. She's doing no damage to me. She pops a bubble, I shoot her again. She pops her second bubble. She's still not charged, right? I mean, maybe my team feeds the charge, but like that's not even a good trade for her. It's not a good trade. Okay, let's look at some ball here. Now, the key thing is going to be about you turning that simplicity into like, how do I execute on this? Like, what do I need to be doing with that? So let's see how you do with ball.
Hinder on the grapple is just I'm still getting used to that interaction, honestly.
Yeah. I'm also thinking like what's the okay, so Ball is like one of those characters a little bit like Doomfist where you can there's so many choices, right? This looks like you're trying to like roll through to set up for their spawn maybe, or like roll up to go up top. Like what was the plan here? Do you remember?
I'm trying to get to the opposite corner of where I am now, basically.
Yeah. Like here?
Yeah, I'm basically trying to get right here so that I can, force point, slam height, take mega if I need to.
I'm gonna go one deeper. I think you should just slam height now.
You think so?
Yeah, it's only 1 CC. You have adaptive shields. You're full HP. You got a free engage. I think this is just all about your team is also here as well, right? So there's poke trades. So then if that's the play, how do you approach it? What's the optimal way to approach on this?
I mean, I'm pretty confident swinging up there from anywhere. I guess
Sure.
I would want to be.
Don't overthink it.
I'd want to be kind of where the security sign is, and then swing around laterally.
Yeah, you could go like here and just like whoosh, get a little verticality.
Like minimize the time.
Right, he can't hinder at that height because the range limited, and then you just slam adaptive shields, roll away if you need to. Like you're gonna use both CDs, but you and I both know that you're fine. Yeah, I mean, monsters. So it's all about like basically ball is described as like what is the correct engage, and then do you do it correctly? Because it's not always so easy to know what the correct engage is, and it's also not super easy to do it correctly either. This is good. I like this. I like the adaptive shields. I like the slam. Your team is there to follow up. Yeah. Shoot because they're one. As soon as they're no longer one, you exit. You're shooting for them. I think this is where, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. Also, your composition worked really well with your comp, with you.
Massive.
Yeah, the Genji dash was massive. The Reaper, the Zenyatta help from spam from range as well. This is a little cheeky. I'm not gonna lie. Like you're gonna be by yourself, so just be careful. You're doing a wee bit of trolling here. I'm not gonna lie.
A little bit of trolling.
Yeah, it's just a matter of timing. And the worst part about it is I guarantee your Reaper Genji's gonna die here. See, this is why they pay me the big bucks. But you need to be careful about baiting your teammates to overcommit, right? So like I look at this here, and like your Reaper Genji are doing their job. Okay, your Genji actually gets out, but your Reaper's trying to follow up, which I respect, but like it's just not good. Right now, it's good. But okay, thoughts on this? Was the setup optimal? I don't care if it worked. I want to know if it was optimal.
The grapple whiff's a little embarrassing, but I like this for me.
Could it have been better? Could have been better. Was there any better location, better engaged, and so why?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, then come up with 2 different ways you could have approached it.
I think if I'm really locked in, I maybe get I swing up a little differently, get a knockoff.
So like, here, and then you like retract and knock them this way, you're saying?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, give me another option. Oh, so you come from this way.
If I come this way and knock them off back, and now they're kind of locked out behind that building as
we're
pushing.
I like this one better because it's coming from a different direction than your Reaper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You could even, if you really want to be greedy here, you can't do it right now. There's a sense of urgency, but if you'd had more time to set up, this is a situation where like taking elevator is kind of useful because then you could drop slam off the edge and save your grapple and then grapple loop afterwards, right? Right now you're clearly on a sense of urgency because you're trying to help your Reaper, but you were like, I think what I did was fine. I don't care. Evaluate it again. Come up with a new idea. Innovation doesn't happen because there's necessarily something wrong. Innovation happened because maybe there's a better way of doing it, right? And so when you're thinking with Wrecking Ball, always ask, like, kind of like what we asked with first fight, was there a better way of doing it? Was there a better way of doing it, right? So like right now, is this the best setup?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I guess I could be a little closer, but I'm confident that from here I can make a play on that door where it looks like they're all coming out.
So, but could you make a better play in the door here? Could you be positioned elsewhere to make a better play in the door?
I could do a little cheeky grapple retract above the door.
Like up here?
Go for the.
Would that be better than what you're doing now?
Yes, because I would have 1 second grapple cooldown instead of 5.
Okay. Would it be worth it giving up this choke instead? And if that's the case, then is this position even good for holding this choke?
Well, I'm here. I'm listening. I see them trickling out on the other side, so I decide to commit.
You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm pushing you a little bit, but I'm not necessarily giving you ideas. I could say you could even staging on county jail might be better than where you were, because then you can just roll slam, right? You know. But this is the level of innovation you need to be making with this character. I love the grapple retract stuff. I think that's really smart, because then you're saving a cooldown, right? You save a cooldown, you get more aggressive value. Doesn't mean that what you're doing is bad. It could be better.
That's one of the things I like about ball is there's options.
So many options, right? So many options. Almost like overwhelming, right?
Yeah, it can be.
Like how many? There's like 4 different ways to engage every fight, right? So I'm just letting this go because this is just frankly just like mechanics and also ego, and so
Just a little bit.
just a little bit of ego. Listen, anytime they start counter swapping, you have every right to be ego.
I've played against Sombra for more hours than probably any other DPS, just like as a symptom of being a ball player. And it just doesn't bother any. Like, I really enjoy making them play a hero that they're worse at.
You and me both. You and me both. It's a we're wise old men and we're just better than everybody else, you and me, right? So whenever they make those pathetic counter swaps and fail miserably, I'm definitely typing a little bit of match chat. Okay, so again, I ask you, is this the best setup? I know why you're set up here. I don't think this is a bad setup, but is this the best setup? I like the silence. I like this. This means the gears are turning. This is good.
Because I have spent some time with this VOD,
Good.
Before.
Excellent.
I feel like I had to use 100% of my brain to win this game.
Good. There's always still the best. And now you're a high school coach.
Yeah. I'm like, dominance over Sombra established. Don't want to give her the confidence advantage by instantly feeding, which I do eventually do. But
so I know I don't care, but again, the question: what's the play? Is this the best play? Is this the best setup? I'll go right.
I don't know if it's the best. I can tell you what I was planning on doing.
I don't care what you were planning on doing. Give me some ideas of what you give me. Okay, so when in doubt, give me 2 other options.
Well, there's bottom left.
So like here.
Yep.
What would you do from here?
Well, my scouting's better through that door. I would have maybe seen Malga a little earlier. And then
basically the same thing, right? Yeah. Kind of like roll, slam, whatever, Is it worth the scouting?
Probably yes.
Compared to what you have here?
Yeah, because here I have no information other than
right. But what do you gain from here?
I gain a free slam with no grapple.
And do you gain scouting? Because you also have information up here that you wouldn't otherwise have.
That's true. I mean,
here's a question: could you get scouting from up top? Could you get the best of both worlds, scouting and then also set up your slam from here?
Yeah, I go push that Sombra out with my Reaper, and then I can see everything.
Right. Shoot here, and then go here. You got me?
I do.
The problem here is, what was that grapple, and what was that adaptive shields? I think you were trying to help your Reaper out, right? But I don't think worth, not at the HP that he was at, right? Again, I understand why, just don't think it's worth.
Sure.
But see, I don't mind this, right? I don't mind this. Now you're trolling here. Why?
No follow-up.
No follow-up.
No Sombra.
No adaptive shields. No scouting on Sombra. And you're not even setting up from an angle either. Like, whenever you have a choice, you'd like to do set. Okay.
I could have done the same thing from the top right.
You're a wizard. You're cooked.
Absolutely. I immediately swapped D.Va, I think, after one more fight. I'm like, I think maybe we can win this. There's a good time bank. Let's see what happens. And then I'm just like, well, I'm going to go D.Va and make this Maga hate his life. And then this don't, please don't, because
I'm going to. I'm going to
retract, and I'm like half a meter too low, and it's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh, it's so good. I just love it.
I'm limit testing the.
You're limit testing. It's called incompetence limit testing. I do it all the time. My stream reminds me every single time. Okay, let's look at a little bit more ball and then. Okay. Any questions?
Is there some sort of I have a question. I'm trying to word it, but I don't want to.
Can I try to predict what the question is, just for fun? Are you trying to look for the metrics by with which to judge an engage is better or not, or an engage is good or not?
I'm trying to find a way to like, because I think there are things that I'm doing that are fine if not good, but when my bad decisions are really bad.
Oh, I
so
see.
If I could make those bad decisions more infrequent or simply less bad, menos mal.
Yeah, but everyone makes bad mistakes. The question is, what bad mistakes have you been making with D.Va? What bad mistakes have you been making with ball? With D.Va, let's just ignore for right now. We've addressed some of those. But with ball, like you've pretty easy attack for the most part. But when things went poorly, what things were going poorly? Or when things were going well but could have been going better, what were those things? You fed with mines. You fed with your staging. You were not aware of where your team was. You didn't set up on an angle. And then in general,
checking.
Yeah, not checking your team's positioning. And then if quite frankly, like even going into second, right? When I was like, yo, slow down, your Reaper Genji, you're going to have to try and keep up with you, right? A little classic ball. I can go in, so everyone can go in, right? Right, guys? Yeah. Right. And then also, I think setups really could have been a lot better. I think like how you're setting up, whether it was the late second choke, whether it was the first fight, even the third point when you were on the high ground and then just kind of dropped main and then roll, and instead of setting up back top again, you just decide to go right down the middle, right? And then that goes predictably poorly. Setups weren't as good as they could have been. Even when they were working, they were not as good as they could have been. And that's why we were evaluating them. Just because you're winning fights doesn't mean you're playing as well as you could.
Sure.
So that's it. That's it.
This attack does not go as smoothly as the first one does. I'll tell you that much.
Right, because you're doing stupid things.
100%.
Right? You had the same idea on first point, got poked out of it, which kind of ended up forcing you to do something a little bit better. But it wasn't because of your decision. This is not smart. I don't think forcing point in front of people's LOS works. So instead, give me your 2 different engage options that are going to provide more value. And along with the setups. How would you set up and what would you engage for? Give me two choices.
I have everything, so high ground slams available.
High ground slam again. Yes, you're gonna get slapped and maybe rocked, but you'll be okay. It's a lot of damage, a lot of value. It's probably worth a try. Okay, give me another option.
And I could keep Anna busy for.
You could keep Anna busy.
I mean, she'll sleep me.
Yep, but they're not gonna kill you. She's by herself.
Have sleep for anyone else.
Yep.
She'll use sleep and nade probably.
And nade and mercy pocket, and you're gonna clear off of high ground, and it's really easy to stage.
15 shots.
You got it. So then, how do you stage on the Ana? What's the best way? Not a good way, but the best way to stage in this Ana. I'll give you 15 seconds to think.
I like going around back here.
Okay. I think going around back is good as well. Make sure that you enter at full HP. You can roll up the stairs, and then you can use your slam off of that, even if she gives you attention, and then still have your grapple afterwards. It's up to you. It's up to you. And the funny thing about this is, I know that like if I were to ask Chasm, like, what's the best engage for ball to an Ana here, he would have an idea that you and I are too stupid to think of. But it doesn't matter. The point being is that you need.
Once I'm here, if I had grapple, I could just grapple retract up onto her and slam.
You could
grapple again in 1 second.
You could. Point being, it's just kind of a mid engage, right? It's just a mid engage. There wasn't enough damage. There wasn't enough value. This is fine because this is just slam simulator. Anybody could do this, right? The question is when you look at the chessboard, when you have your pawn to swap for, a castle or a knight or whatever. Like,
It's funny.
right, everybody can do that, but like it's when the board's fresh. That's when it really comes down. Oh, I could see the checkmate. Congratulations. Any jackass can see, well, one move away from a checkmate, right? But it's when the board's plain. Do you see those setups? Do you see the way to get those trades, the favorable trades? And right now the answer's been, like, what the heck is this?
I don't know.
Looking at the battlefield, right? First off, your team's not there yet. Second off, you need to set up. So what would you do? You're going to get to this corner here. You're going to get a little bit of scouting. You see, bam, bam, bam. Okay, now what? Two choices.
Fast retract for fast cooldown up to height, and then I can take stairs. And that's
Sure.
like a free off angle.
Sure.
Even around back, like dumpster where Reaper is.
Yep. I love the setup from here, frankly. Like, I love the swing through here, and then you can even swing through up here and shoot, and then slam back here. Like, now that they're off high, like, you can assault from this direction. You could do exactly what you said, and you could also swing up and over this way and start playing, patty cake back here as well, right? You got choices.
This is nothing, though.
It's just direct. It's nothing. You're going on a bad target. The mines are fine because it's zoning value and stuff like that. But then, it's not great. Nice. Mechanics are pretty good. I know you talked about that as like being a weak point, but your aim, at least with the ball, is like fairly decent. It's pretty good. I would not be guessing plat with your aim. I'd be guessing more like diamondish, low diamond.
That's nice to hear.
And see, we're not even really concerned how that fight played out because it started in such a bad foot. Like, who cares, right? Like that's like we're gonna again all the way run it down main. Now I get the urgency here because your team is here, but it doesn't matter. Take 2 seconds, improve the quality of your setup, so that you don't end up rolling directly into a Reaper.
Back, I would have gone cafe.
Like up top here.
Yeah, I can get there from this.
Yeah,
angle.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So then you
and then I get stuck, and Reaper eats like 300 of my HP.
Yeah, so then you could do all sorts of stuff. You could tickle with Ana, you could shoot here, you could wait for your grapple, and then slam and then roll out. You got all sorts of stuff that you can do from there. Yeah, that's a great call. This is just. Yeah, I could smell it. Like I knew you were dead.
Yeah.
Like, I knew you were dead, right? Okay, we're getting smart. I appreciate the
thing I've wanted to do the whole time.
Right. So
it's like this is the thing. It's like
two things have happened.
I know that I'm capable of checking.
Yes.
Because I watch myself do it in the replays sometimes, especially when it's starting to get hairy, last fight territory. I know that I can do it. I just have to like build the habit of doing it every fight instead of crucial fights only.
You're setting up and you're checking your teammates. Isn't it funny that those two just happen to happen at the same time? Because when you set up, sometimes you give yourself time and you put yourself in a position to where you can see your teammates. You're like, oh, right? You can't see your teammates when you're doing this. But you can see your teammates.
Wait here
at
least a couple seconds.
I think so too. Yep, now we go. Love it. I mean, was this the best one? I don't know. It's pretty good because you use the reduced retract cooldown, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
She sleeps me here and then wakes me up with nade.
Right, and it was well timed as well, right?
To get out. Yeah.
So I'm gonna, we'll make the homework easy. I'm not gonna even make you sit here and think about if this is the optimal engage, because you clearly put some thought and time into it. Look at that, textbook. Now I will ask you about this because this is where it really gets hard. Because the first engage, even I can think of a good first engage, but then now you got to think about what you want to do here. What do you think?
Yeah,
It's hard, isn't it?
One back, for some reason, I decide that shooting the soldier who is the furthest away is the play.
Right. Oh, it's diva. It's diva all over again. You notice that? It's convenience, right? Even a character like Wrecking Ball who has decent range. Here, I think you go back up elevator and you poke from here, or you grapple, wham, into the soldier and poke him from here. Your choice.
I don't think I commit hard enough on anybody.
It's still not bad, though. It's still by easily your best fight. Like, even that grapple, retract into another slam, and then dropping your mines, and shockingly, it works. wasn't perfect, but it was a noticeable step up of quality. Now, obviously, you guys did go into that with a couple of ults, but they did too, right? So it was a much better fight. Even this here, right? Like, okay, so you are going a little early, but you're trying to go like, all right, I'm going to stop them from touching. You hit a nice grapple. You hit a nice slam. You do not use your adaptive shields because you don't need to. Okay, I say that and then you use it. I really think you don't need to worry about the adaptive shields when it's just one CC, right? Maybe if it was Ana inside of her team, sure, but that Ana's not inside of her team, right? So, okay. I mean, it was a good way to end it. It was a good way to end it. I respect it. Ball, what do you need to practice? Pretty simple, right?
Set up, check team.
Set up, check team.
Purposefully set up.
And in homework, do not ask yourself if the setup was good enough. Ask yourself if there was another option available, and then evaluate if it was better. So the key thing is don't find a better engage. Just find another engage, period. Then compare the two.
I see what you're saying.
Don't try and paint a painting that's better than your last painting. Just paint. Just art. Let it happen. And then when it's done, you can kind of compare the two. Like, oh, I like what I did there. Just let it happen, right? So like, I never want you to go and be like, oh, there's a better engage. I just know it. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's not. But if nothing else, that will give you confidence that what you're doing right now is correct. But you do need to have something to compare it to.
Compare it against, yeah.
Right, exactly. And that's something that you could definitely do in the moment in setup phase if you're quick, right? But it may just be better to get ideas at Replay Viewer afterwards. Okay. Any questions?
My one question is Platinum 3 feels like, and maybe this is all in my head, but the jump from Plat 4 to Plat 3 legit feels like an ocean in terms of like game speed. Like noticeable across all three roles that I've been playing this season. Like there's some divide there where I get into a game in a Plat 3 lobby versus a Plat 4 and 5, and it just feels so fast. And I think that some of the setup issues are coming from like a sense of urgency.
Yep.
That will probably be dispelled more than anything with more playtime.
Yep.
And just like acclimation to the game speed.
Yep. But, and remember, the more you practice your steps, the faster you get.
Yeah.
Faster you get. Yep. Because some of your setups here were just automatic, and some of them were really good, despite being automatic, because you've done them before.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, okay. I think